Hello and welcome. I'm Tracy Clark, the Executive Director of the Louisa County Chamber of Commerce. And who you see on the screen today is Braden Croy. He's with the Dominion Energy Innovation Center in Ashland. And we're really excited to hear from him about an upcoming series that's pointed at agribusiness. And I'm going to turn it over to you, Braden. And I want to make sure also that you mention the pitch competition that you have coming in February for our group, because that's a really exciting endeavor. We just had two Louisa businesses compete and had a finalist and a winner. So we would love to offer another opportunity for our businesses. So Braden, take it away. Tell us about what's coming up and how it can help our agribusiness.
Tracy, I really appreciate you introducing me and also allowing me to come on and talk with your members today. We have a very exciting workshop series coming up called AgX. It's a business planning workshop series that we're putting in partnership with SCORE Richmond. So I have a couple slides I'm going to run through. So I'm just going to share my screen and then we can dive in. And again, I don't want to be just the talking head and bore you guys with slides, but I feel it might be the best way to kind of quickly highlight what this program is about and who we're trying to serve. So AgX is what we're dubbing one of Virginia's premier ag enterprise business planning workshop series for startups and growing food, forestry, and agricultural businesses. And that food, forestry, and agriculture is key because it's really open to anyone who has some sort of agricultural product or service or attachment. And we'll kind of dive into that. But as I said, I'm with Dominion Energy Innovation Center. We're our own private 501c4 corporation or business run out of Ashland, Virginia. We have this interesting dual mandate where we support local small businesses through our funding and engagement with Hanover County and the town of Ashland, but then also through programming and support that we receive from Dominion Energy. We focus a lot on helping innovative clean tech companies, whether those are carbon capture and storage or indoor vertical farming or technology and software-based companies. We kind of span the gamut with our mentors and with our program. So we're based in Ashland. We have a co-working space that anyone's welcome to become a member of. You can either grab an office or grab a floating desk and work out of there. Just gets you out of that home office and those dogs and kids you can always barge in when you're trying to work. So keep Dominion Energy Innovation Center if you're ever down in the Richmond area. We would love to welcome you and show you around. We're putting this workshop on with SCORE Richmond. And if you're not familiar with SCORE, SCORE is an incredible organization of essentially retired business executives who have decided that they're too fidgety to stay at home during retirement, and they want to give back to their community by mentoring up-and-coming entrepreneurs and business owners. And they have a portfolio of mentors with incredible backgrounds. And one of their key mentors, Glenn Sink, is going to be the instructor on the AgX. He's the lead agricultural mentor for SCORE in Virginia. He previously ran the Virginia State Fair and a number of other, high revenue enterprises in the agricultural space. And he regularly mentors out of the DEIC as well as meeting clients where they need, whether that's on their land because they're a farm or at their retail space because they're selling farm to table products. And again, no matter what your business is, there's a SCORE mentor around the nation. I think just looking at their website, they have 10,000 mentors around the country that they all kind of hook in and play with. So incredible knowledge base of individuals to use with SCORE. Just a little background on AgX is, as we looked over Hanover and as we looked over the different counties in central Virginia, we really came to this conclusion that some of the largest supporters and some of the largest industry sectors in the region were agricultural based, whether that's pure production or taking agricultural products and performing value added services and manufacturing processes or sales processes on those services. So we wanted to come up with this workshop series that would really focus on helping those entrepreneurs gain the understanding, gain the business skills that they need, whether they're just starting out as a pure startup or they're kind of getting into that growth curve and want to formalize some of their trajectory, whether that's through formal financing, if they're going through an SBA lender, or if they're going to a private lender, or if they're looking to raise equity financing. You need a lot of things in place to be able to go that route. Or if you're just starting out, sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And this workshop series is a great way to get introduced to that. As I said, Glenn Sink is going to be our program instructor. He has worked with hundreds of companies throughout Virginia, a large portion of those in the agricultural sector, and he'll be your resource both online and in person during this workshop series. And so if we look at what we're kind of defining as agricultural, it's anything. We've worked with the State Department of Agriculture to really understand it's food, forestry, and agricultural products. Anything that comes out of that, anything that goes into that can be classified here. So just a couple of examples of what a business might be coming into the program. You could have a value-added agricultural product. So you might be taking goat's milk and making incredible artisanal goat cheese, or maybe you're starting up a brewery and a winery. Maybe you want to develop a farm-to-table food experience, whether that's a local restaurant or a food truck or meal delivery service. We consider that farm-to-table. We consider that an agricultural service. Maybe you have a piece of land and you want to explore some tourism options on that piece of land. Ag tourism is huge right now, and the state actually has incentivized it through some lower bar regulations around what it means to welcome visitors and tourists to your piece of property and the liability shift that comes into that. We'll go over those types of things in this workshop. Or maybe you're an agricultural service provider. So if you have a drone sitting out there and you want to help people survey their land, or you want to do photography for them, or maybe you have a piece of land and you want to sell carbon credits or help landowners figure out how to sell carbon credits on their land. These are all types of companies that we've worked with through the DEIC. That's why I'm just kind of throwing them out there as examples. Or maybe you have a full-on agricultural technology product or service. Maybe you've developed an algorithm that helps farmers really understand their crop yields, or understand the crop rotation cycles that they should be on, or understand the market, or get payment from their customers. Or maybe you've done something with remote sensing and understanding water, moisture content in the soils. The beauty of this specific workshop series is that it talks to all facets of what it means to be an ag business or an ag enterprise. And so there are specific needs, right? There are specific ways of thinking about your business model around that, that Glenn's really going to bring to the table and through the interaction of the workshop. And I think that's an important thing. This is very much not going to be your lecture where you can sit in the back and hide. This is very much your roundtable seminar style workshop series, where you're going to be doing things in the workshops, doing things out of the workshops, bringing them in and presenting on them and getting people's feedback, and having this back and forth between your peers and also the instructing team. And we're going to be bringing in guest lecturers from the commercial lenders, from the state, and from other regulatory bodies or other lending and finance bodies to help you move along in your business. So you know what permits you need, when you need to get those permits, and then how can you get the money to get going in business. So this workshop is going to run pretty much every Wednesday, except for that week of Thanksgiving, from November 10th to December 15th. So it's Wednesday nights from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And the beauty is we have two options. You can either do it in person at the Dominion Energy Innovation Co-working Space in downtown Ashland, if you're in the area and you want to come have an evening with us, or you can attend it virtual on Zoom. And you'll still be able to interact. You'll still be able to get your questions answered. You'll still be expected to engage and present your materials, even if you are virtual. That's where a lot of that learning happens, is when you're going back and forth. But we've broken it up over 5 workshops. The first workshop being your introduction to agribusiness planning models. So really looking at what your business model canvas might look like. And this is just a kind of a thought process. It's kind of a way of structuring the different pieces of your business in a very intuitive way, all the way to what your building blocks are, your feasibility, and everyone loves getting into your mission and your vision and culture, because that's what makes a company. Then the following week, we'll dive into developing your business foundation. So a lot of this is understanding your customers, understanding your market research. Who are you going after? How are you going to get them? And then what's the true value that you're providing them, and how do you build a brand around that? so much of agriculture is about that brand, particularly if you're in the retail space or if you're in the tourism space and hospitality space. You want people to really connect and want to promote your brand. So then we'll take a week break because it's Thanksgiving and we get to go enjoy all of those harvests that we've had and the cornucopias that get to sit on our tables. But we'll be back the week after Thanksgiving, starting December 1st for the last push of the last 3 workshops, where we'll actually start putting pen to paper and working towards the actual kind of outputs, the products that you'll be able to take to a lender, or you'll be able to take to a partner, where you'll be able to answer the questions that a vendor might have. If you're working with a Kroger or a Harris Teeter or whatever, as they try to put your product on their shelf, or if you're opening your own retail spot, a landlord might be asking you, looking at their risk management. So we'll dive in first with developing your business plan. How do you make your business happen? What are your product and service delivery plans? What's that customer journey? How do they go from hearing about you to ultimately buying? And then what are the key resources and key activities that go into your business production? And then the following week, we'll be designing your customer experience. So this is the fun part, right? This is all about that UX of how do they engage with you? How are you taking payment? How are you getting set up? What should you be looking at in terms of your growth, right? A lot of us started small businesses, but maybe we have dreams of making it our full-time business and hiring people and eventually being able to retire and pass that on. And so how does all of that look, right? Maybe we don't have clarity 10 years down the road, but we can lay some strong foundations today that allow us to get there. And then finally, we'll put all that kind of nice wrapper and bow on it when we talk about finances. And don't be scared. We'll make the financial piece really consumable and easy to understand, because you don't have to be worried by the numbers. We'll highlight what we like to tell entrepreneurs they need: your BAIL team, BAIL, your banker, your accountant, your insurance provider, and your lawyer. If you have your BAIL team, they will bail you out of any situation, business, and life. And so we'll dive into how do you utilize them, how do you get them, then how does that fit with your go-to-market strategy and your business model. And over those 5 courses or those 5 workshops, you'll really come out with a much stronger understanding of not only your business and the market, but yourself as an entrepreneur, and the kind of hypothesis testing that goes into making sure that you're making small bets along the way. You're not betting the entire farm on one idea, and we'll walk you through and hold your hand as we go down that path. And I think you'll build some really great relationships with the other students and the other entrepreneurs in the program that'll really help you. And we're, of course, always going to be having guest lectures. We're going to be bringing in folks from the state. We're going to be bringing in folks from those lenders, like I said earlier, so that you're being able to apply what you're learning in real time to building your business. It's not, hey, do these 5 workshops and then start your business. It's start your business either before or during these 5 workshops, so that you're fully utilizing the experts that we have in there. So, everything that, as you're wondering, there's a minimal cost to this. It's $25 per workshop, so $125. And you can do it in person or you can do it virtual. You get a notebook of, yay thickness, with all the slides and supporting documents and worksheets and everything. Like we said, the whole point is you come out with documents and you come out with materials that allow you to stand in front of a partner, stand in front of a lender, stand in front of a regulator, and actually be able to kind of go toe to toe and make sure that your business is going on route. So if you're virtual, we'll ship those materials to you. You just have to let us know. There's 2 different registration links on SCOR's website. So there's one registration if you're going to do it in person, and there's one registration if you're going to be doing it virtual. Make sure you hit the right one, or just let us know if you accidentally did one over the other. You can scan these QR codes, or you can jump on the URLs down here. But all the in-person ones are going to be in our co-working space. We have a great setup. All of them, whether you're in person or virtual, are going to be interactive. We're going to record the sessions just in case you miss one and you want to go back and rewatch it, or if you were there and you want to go back and rewatch it again, or just a piece of it to recap something that you didn't necessarily get. And then we still have space available in all of these. So we would love to have you guys. I know I kind of flew fast through a lot of that, but honestly, Tracy, thank you for having me, and I would love to answer any questions. You can email me directly, braden@dominnovation.com, or find me on LinkedIn, Braden Croy. That's where I spend a lot of my time now as well, connecting with our entrepreneurs. So really appreciate it, and happy to answer any questions. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen and just go back to my beautiful mugshot. But we'll go from there.
Braden, that was great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you doing that. I do have a question right off the top of the bat is going over the workshop agendas. It looked to be targeted towards people that are considering a business or right at the very beginning stages. We have several agribusinesses that have been running for a couple of years now. Is this an appropriate workshop for them? Like what? It just looked like a lot of the topics were, starting from ground zero. So I'm curious about that.
It's a great question. While this is going to be very relevant for someone just starting, it's going to be just as relevant for folks who are maybe just a couple years out from starting, that have been in business flying by the seat of their pants for 1, 2, 3 years, but really want to start formalizing a lot of things that they've started to understand, right? We've all been there. We've been making up on the fly as entrepreneurs, but let's bring some cohesion around all of those pieces. If nothing else, it'll kind of give you this perspective on what should I be working towards in my existing business, and the business plans, right? If you want to go for, let's say, an SBA loan, right, to grow, you want to introduce a new product line, or you want to grow your location, one of the things that they're going to ask you for is, we want to see your business plan, and we want to see 3 years of pro forma financial projections, as well as your previous 2 years of your income statement, your profit and loss, your balance sheet, and all of that. So we'll be speaking to, hey, it's easier to get this stuff out of the way early and then go back and edit it. But if you've already been in business and don't have these assets, you're going to need these assets to grow. So let us put all of that into one package, one easily digestible and structured workshop series, for you to get ready to now grow your business. So if you've hit that inflection point and maybe you've run into a brick wall, or you've run over some speed bumps, now we can codify that learning and really accelerate it forward from there. So yeah, great if you're just starting, great if you're already in business and looking to really ramp up your production.
That's good. That's good. And in regards to financing, funding, that sort of thing, how much, I know you talked about loans and what you have for that, but how much do you cover grant opportunities, things like that?
Yeah. So when we have, I think we'll be having Steve Burson from the state, who does the economic development across the state for the Department of Ag. And we'll be diving deep into what are those grant opportunities. How do you partner with the state and your local municipality to go after some of those grants? There are large grants that the state has available for agricultural businesses. And so we're going to be bringing in those experts from the state to talk specifically about those grants, for you to give them your business card, for you to give them your pitch, and get on their radar of, hey, we want to do something with, we want to bottle a new kombucha, or we want to do something new that maybe doesn't fall in the, easily, existing structures of the applications that we have to put in, or the food safety requirements that we have. You'll be able to get those questions answered at these workshops. So it's not only, your own personal finances as you start your business, it's also as you're preparing to take external money, and it's also what's that free money that's coming from nonprofits, coming from the state, and coming from your local municipality.
Good. Yeah. And Sheridan's on here. Sheridan, you jump in if you have any questions, because I know I just have a bunch popping in my head. So do you have anything, Sheridan?
Good. Is it a, I know that, some dates are better than others. And for me, in terms of, events like that, is
Absolutely.
it something where it's like you attend the whole thing, or is it something where you could pick and choose different workshop days?
Yeah, so you're paying for all of them, right? So that's at $25, and that's actually discounted from what SCORE usually charges. So they typically charge $35 a workshop. We said we wanted to, DEIC, we like doing the free workshops, understanding the cost constraints of our local businesses. So we got a discount on that. You can, of course, show up. We encourage you to show up to all of them. If you miss one here or there, that's why we're going to record them, so that you can go back through and you'll have all the slides, you'll have all the content as well. So definitely helps to be present, be synchronous, and get your questions answered in real time. But it's also doable. I think we've all started those online courses that are only recorded, and we make it 10% or 50% of the way through, and life happens. And that's why we've tried to keep it into this short, compressed window. 2 hours on a Wednesday evening. And we're happy to work with people's schedules if they want to connect offline, and we'll host office hours and things like that.
Good.
And do you offer any kind of services or outreach outside of this workshop program on a normal basis?
Absolutely. So both SCORE and DEIC are what are generally called entrepreneurship support organizations. So our bread and butter is doing one-on-one mentorship and counseling with business owners. We can talk anything from your personal finances and how much you really want to invest in your own business, all the way up to how do you implement a POS system, and how do you start, open a bank account and do all your, actual accounting. And if we don't have the expertise, then we have someone in the network who will provide those types of services on a free basis. So we do office hours. Like just last Thursday, we did IP office hours that were open and free 45-minute consultations with the patent experts out of PPP Law in Fredericksburg. And folks were getting not only, patent questions, but if you have trademark questions, if you have copyright questions, hey, how do I trademark my logo, or how do I copyright this slogan? They dove into all of that with our entrepreneurs. And we have accountants that come on, we have bookkeepers that come on, and marketers and designer, the whole gamut. And then SCORE, like I said, SCORE's mentor network and they're all free consultation, right? It's only their workshops that they charge for. And you can meet one-on-one with them. They have an incredible roster of mentors who have done incredible things in their careers, and they want to give back by helping local businesses.
That's great. What about, some of the businesses that pop in my mind are those kind of part-time that show up at the farmers markets and things like that,
Mhm.
that may not taken the full plunge in full-time doing a business, but they're just kind of getting started and they're having some success. Are they the type of candidates that would likely be involved in this?
Absolutely. That's where we all start, right? That's where we all should start. It's, dip your toe in, make sure it's right for you, make sure you love what you're doing. And if you ever do want to get it to that full-time gig, right? Like you don't want to, there's some people who are super right on the risk continuum spectrum, right? They don't care. They're going to jive in full force. And there's a lot of people who want to, gradually wade into making sure that we can cover our responsibilities and cover our commitments. Or we just want that kind of side money, that little play money that we can get from doing a little side hustle. That they're just as much of a business as the large full-time enterprise companies. And they still are constrained by different market forces, the things that we'll be going over in these workshops. They still have to take into account their brand and their communication channels and their finances and their customer service processes. Now it's easier if you're, farmers market and you're one-on-one and they know where to find you. Maybe it's just a little bit different than your tech companies, but they all fit on this spectrum.
Okay.
So yeah, happy to have the part-timers, happy to have the full-timers.
Good. And I want to dive in a little bit. I love that slide where you talked about the different types of ag businesses. I think immediately people go to, breweries, cideries,
Mhm.
arts, crafts, food, that sort of thing. I found it very interesting, the, like the photography and the drone work, people surveying the lands, testing the soil. Here's my question: crafters that make things from, whatever, rocks, trees, woodworking, things
Yeah.
like that. Do they fall into that agro biz type of definition as
I'd say absolutely, right. I don't know if you come up with the next pet rock, maybe that is like a little different one. But if you're harvesting, woodlands and you're doing incredible custom furniture, or if you're just doing, an Etsy store and you're doing stuff with kind of natural products. I think one of the examples was in there, even cosmetics, right? Like if you're doing organic essential oils and you're growing some of that stuff, or you're working with local lavender farmers and yada, yada, right? Like that's the beauty of the broad state definition, right? Food,
Okay.
forestry, and agriculture. Like it
Yeah.
kind of runs the gamut of
Yeah.
everything. And,
what about
just, if you're a farmer, that works. Or if you're taking farmer products and kind of bumping them up in the value stack, that's great.
what about, like, for example, landscapers or landscaping that,
Mhm.
are they agriculture as well, or is
Yeah.
that really a
I think you
stretch?
get into, yeah, I think you always get into these nuances, and the content isn't going to be like so specific that a landscaper couldn't get anything out of it. But we're very much thinking, I don't know, I'm not going to discourage anybody, right? We're not going
Right.
to turn you away if you're a landscaper, but in
Yeah.
terms of like your, ability to go after some of these agricultural or rural USDA type of grants, it might be a little bit harder.
Right.
And that's kind of what we want to get the participants for is, what is that farm to table, both product, service, and food experience for Central Virginia.
Okay. Yeah, this is helpful. I have a couple of businesses that, for example, there's a gift boutique, but a lot of the merchandise that they sell, they actually make. They
Mm,
they uh oh my goodness, refurbish furniture,
okay.
or they have the old, they make American flags out of old pallets, or woodworking kind of stuff, so they would fall into that agro type of business,
Yeah.
maybe.
I
Okay.
think I think they would definitely, if nothing else, right? This would give them a very wide and detailed perspective on, going and working with their farmers or working with their suppliers that
Right.
maybe are pulling off of the agricultural enterprises. So yeah, I think there's definitely something in there for them.
This is great. All right, thank you, Sheridan. Do you have any other questions before we let them go?
Nope, I think that's it.
Well, this has
I
been
have,
very
I do,
helpful.
Tracy, I totally forgot to plug the pitch competition.
Oh, yes,
So
yes.
yes, so every February for the past, I think 5 years, I think this might be our 6th year coming up, we host the Center Street Pitch Competition. We give out $20,000 in cash prizes, as well as a large amount of in-kind prizes, everywhere from marketing and branding revamps to accounting help to legal help, all in kind. And so this year, one specific track of this is going to be for ag enterprises and ag businesses to follow on to the AgX workshop series that we're doing. We really want to not only bring the educational component, but then we're also going to be bringing our own grants and financing component to that. So that'll be the end of February. I would love to come back on and once we launch the applications for Center Street Pitch Competition, come back on and talk about it. And again, we're here to support any entrepreneur in the region that has an ag business, or has a small business, or has a high-tech business. SCORE and the DEIC are here to help.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for your time and the information. And I look forward to sharing this. Just for the benefit of everybody, to wrap this up, what's the website address that they would go to get
Yep.
further details?
So they can go to DOM Innovation, DOM Innovation, INNOVATION. I always have to try to spell that off the top of my head. DOMinnovation.com, or if you just Google Dominion Energy Innovation Center, you'll see our Google business page, with our address and everything, or just jump on our website and you'll see all the other programs that we run there. Programs with Dominion, programs for small businesses, and with the town of Ashland. So jump on, feel free to email me anytime, Braden, it's BRADEN, dominnovation.com. And we look forward to hearing from you and working with you guys.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. And I appreciate your time. Thanks, Sheridan, for your good questions. Everybody have a great day. Check this out. It'll be a great asset to help your business grow.
Absolutely.